Hi, folks. Welcome from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. My name is Dominic Rollins, and I'm the Senior Diversity and Inclusion Officer.
CJ Anderson. Funny though. My name is CJ Anderson, President and founder of Dreams Never Die Foundation, Super Bowl 50 champion, starting running back of your current Denver Broncos today.
That's right, folks. I'm here with CJ Anderson from the Denver Broncos with our Walking the Talk series. For those of you that have tuned in before, this is our series that's all about getting real in diversity and inclusion conversations. CJ's visiting with us at the Ed School today, giving a talk about his new foundation and his commitment to helping youth, both academically and those aspiring athletically. And we thought that we would be in a conversation today for our series. So join us. CJ, can you just start by telling me why this work is important to you? Your foundation just launched last fall. This is a new endeavor for you alongside your work as a professional athlete. Why is it important?
I really believe this is really important for the simple fact that I love challenges.
Okay.
And inner city youth is a huge challenge. Me being an inner city youth kid, having limited resources, but finding a way to persevere to get into, the dreams I have today. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge and the goal that we want to do for our kids back in Vallejo, California.
Now, in education, often folks are talking about how challenging it might be to work with, serve inner city youth. I'm from the school of thought that we have a lot of deficit thinking around our youth, particularly around boys of color, and that we must shift to asset thinking. I'm wondering, how do you approach your work in really having these youth know that they are already enough, that they are strong, that they have capacity, really sort of building them up?
So you got to get that out of them, right? So the first way you start with that is you got to understand the child. Guidance and mentorship.
Okay.
It's something that I had. Mr. Fillmore Graham. I went to the Boys and Girls Club when I was young. Mr. Fillmore Graham was one of my many mentors who guided me and put me on the right path to be successful where I am today. My favorite thing from Fillmore was, boom, take a football. I love football, right? I'm in the league. Boom, take my football, write a book report. Yeah, I'll write a book report. I'm 8 years old. It can be whatever.
Sure.
Write a book report, gave it to him. He gives it back. I get my football back.
Sure.
Then when I got older, 12, 13, snatch my football again, write a book report. And then write the book report, get it back. But I get it back with all these different notes and edit errors and misspelling, run-on sentences.
Sure,
I'm like, what is this? And now Mr. Graham sits me down and then teach me. And I think the good thing we can do, for kids, with what I'm going to get into here in a minute, and our facility, the guidance that we want to do, we want you to do whatever you feel like you want to be when you grow up.
How do you help kids realize that? I mean, the current system would have it such that some kids get to dream.
Yes.
And some kids don't. And I think that's race, I think that's gender.
Yes.
I think so how do you then start with the you get to be whatever you want to be? I mean, real talk, Barack Obama sort of busted through and had us thinking that, a black man can be a president. But really, I don't know that some of our youth that are in the most need can imagine.
So what we do is, and what are we trying to do right now? We're going to create a facility, a 60,000 square foot facility in the city of Vallejo, letting know that our youth can come, safe place to stay, get away from your environment, things of that nature. Because we have to change the youth perspective. If you change the youth perspective, so right now, kids in the inner city grow up to see, I want to be the next CJ Anderson or the next big Jay-Z, big time rap star, and etc. Well, kids know, look at you, female color, and we're sitting here at Harvard today, right?
But we were in a room that wasn't really.
That's what I'm
us.
saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is though, kids don't.
Take it in,
Kids don't understand that, right? So the simple fact, it's not. Go ahead. We went live. That's what you said. But kids don't understand that. So when you change the kid perspective, the way you change the kid's perspective, you got to give them a safe place to stay. You got to give them you have to not change the environment completely because they still got to go home.
Yep.
but you change the environment enough where they're not in it enough that changes their perspective. So we're creating a 60,000 square foot facility for academic and athletic resources. Inside that facility is a 20,000 square foot building. So it's a building within the building strictly for academics. And now what you do is you bring those companies down in San Francisco, California, which is only 45 minutes away from my hometown, Vallejo. You bring down Google and YouTube and Apple and Facebook and some of these other companies I've actually sat and talked to who's going to innovate and create a creative space for these kids. So when the kid walks in and say, I want to be a YouTuber, we'll have that resource for them. And that's the building for them right there. That's the stepping stone for them to be that, which will change the perspective and what they see.
So helping them to imagine, like, I'm going to help you see yourself being able to do this.
Yes.
One of the things I think about a lot, and I read your bio a little bit, your personal story, sort of where you're from, syncs up and connects to the students and the youth that you're trying to serve. That's not the case for a lot of folks in education currently, right? Like right now, we actually have sort of a demographic mismatch between, our educators and folks that are serving students and the students that they serve. What would you say to educators about being able to relate and connect when they don't share the identity of the person that they're serving?
Something that me and my team as a focus and sit and talked about is a simple fact that when you take yourself, when you weren't born and never seen that demographic or seen that neighborhood and where it goes, don't talk to the child as in, I'm Matilda, I'm big, you're small, I'm right, you're wrong. No, don't talk to them in that sense of factor. Talking to them in the sense of understanding. Because there are certain things that child will act out on, as I like to say, that will give you clues of what's going on.
Sure.
And when you get those clues and see those little nicks that we're trying to go to teach our staff at our facility, because majority of our staff at our facility will be those people on the outside. Yeah. Now, we will have some of those staff that has that connection and that relation, which that solves all the problem. Hey, I grew up just like you. I understand exactly what you're going through every day. But when you have those people on the outside, you got to have them talk to the student as in they're trying to understand them, and the student is understanding the respect level. It's not authority do, or it's not adult child.
Sure.
It's community working together as a village to grow.
It's a reciprocal relationship.
Yes.
And I hear you saying that like folks need to have an attentiveness to what a child or a youth is presenting, especially when you don't share the experience. Like you have no other way to sort of know besides what that youth is sort of sharing with you.
Yeah, what I say is like, we're going to use little Johnny, right? If little Johnny is talking back in class and saying, certain words to that adult, the teacher immediately wants to send him down to the principal office, right? Because you're being rude and disrespectful, you got to go. What we would like to teach our staff, our facility is, did you hear what little Johnny said?
Sure.
And if you heard what little Johnny said and the way he's talking back, maybe that's the way he sees an abusive home from his father to mother.
Sure.
Or maybe that's how he sees emotionally how his mom talks to him because he grows up with no father. And there's certain ways that you can get little Johnny to express that. Then you teach little Johnny why is that not the right way to do things, why not to talk back to the adults. But if you just send him off with no understanding, then you just push the kid and move him on, and now you're giving the kid bad habits. You're telling the kid, A, it's okay to talk to you like that, and B, you're disciplining and suspending the kid, which is taking them away from education or taking them away from the school.
Like no learning,
and there's no learning at all. There's no learning in hey, okay, the lesson is I got in trouble and I can't talk bad again, but now the kid already grows up in an environment with certain circumstances.
Sure.
And then the kid goes, well, my environment is bad, and now you sending me to the office, and now you bad because you don't the kid is not old enough to understand why he's doing it. But us as adults, we should definitely be more understanding of this is why that kid is acting out. And if I send that kid, he's going to continue to act out because he's trying to tell me something.
And there's probably more work that folks who don't share the experiences of that kid have to do for that understanding.
Yeah, all the way. I mean, as an adult, if you just sit down and talk to the kid and let the kid know some of the things that you've been through, you'll get the kid to relate and trust more.
That's hard for some adults.
It's
a release of power and control over, as opposed to sharing vulnerability and relating with this kid.
What?
Right? I'm curious, and we can keep walking. I'm curious on what do you think this is doing as it relates to the system? I mean, you had an experience growing up in California, right? I had an experience growing up in Baltimore. These are like individual experiences, but the more I talk to people, the more I read, I believe that there's something bigger out there about how I'm having a particular experience as a black man in the world, for instance.
True.
What do you think this center and your efforts are doing as it relates to a system?
Well, I think I have a platform. And I think when you have a certain platform, you can get people to listen. You know, something
Okay.
I heard Chris Rock say a long time ago, you know, I tell jokes, you know, but I got thousands of people in the stands listening to me. So if I want
right.
to talk about something on social justice or, you know, poverty, you know, even if I make it in a joking manner, I'm getting my point across.
That's right.
And I believe, you know, the system, you got to start with home, you know, before you can change the world. I do believe that. So we're starting at home in Vallejo, California. And that same system, whether it's bad school district or teachers like this and not understanding kids and poverty and different things, there are teachers and administrators in that system that are retired now. But when I was young, didn't understand. When I got in my 20s and I reflect back, really helped me.
Sure.
And what you do is you take those administrators, Sylvia Harris, Shelley Napier, Miss Doster, Ryan Bonet, Rudy Taylor, Fillmore Graham, who's no longer with us. But what you do is you take those people who care and you put them at the top in the facility. This is the point of creating a facility. You put them at the top, you know, at the top of the chain to teach and guideline me and you.
Yeah.
So when we walk back into the community, we can teach our little brothers, our little sisters,
Sure.
In a way where learning and education, and in a way where the respect matter is from the top of the chain all the way down, and not missing in between. So that's one way of creating a center. And then the second way is some of the resources you bring in. Some of these kids don't know they can work at Google. They can work at Aero, which is a Wi-Fi enhancer, work at Twitch, which is a video game company. Some of these students don't know that. So what you do is you make that CEO or that big-time executive, like we've done, to implement in our facility so the kids understand it. But not only do you bring that to them, you bring the kids there. So when the kids walk in, they might go, hey, Dom looks just like me and he's working at Google.
Yeah.
You know, they get on Google every day, YouTube every day. And now they see someone who looks just like them in a workplace 45 minutes away from where they're living.
Yep.
And then you change the perspective and the capacity of the
Well,
kids.
and what I hear in that is bucking the system by increasing representation in that last point, right? A lot of times our kids and our youth who are the most disadvantaged do not have the opportunity to see people like them doing the kinds of things that they may aspire to do. And so as a result, they don't believe that they can do it.
Right.
I want to shift a little bit
Go ahead.
because there's been an ebb and a flow of athletes sort of using both their platform, their time, and their resources in order to give back.
Yes.
What do you think about that? Is it a responsibility? Should athletics be doing more? I mean, you seem to be early in the game of giving back as a pro football player and making it very much a part of what you want to do. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I've had two athletes in the city of Vallejo that I looked up to. One name was Bobby Brooks, who played for the Raiders for 7 years. Another one everybody knows, of course, CeCe Sabathia. They probably don't like him out here, but New York Yankee. You know, but those were the pinnacles of who I saw and what they did for me when I was a kid. So, you know, I told my mom hey, Mom, when I get older, you know, I'm going to do something just like that. You know, just saying it.
Yep.
Not even know if I believe it or not, just saying it. This step is high, I know we live, but I do not want you to trip and fall, so be careful. Yeah.
Looking out for our videographer.
I seen it. But back to what I'm saying is, I think sports teaches us a lot of things. You know, teamwork, sportsmanship, respect, discipline. I think sports teaches us a lot of things, and I think what a lot of athletes see in their communities growing up, if they're inner city kids or the communities that they play in, I think they see the disconnect between that discipline and respect from adult to parent, from adult to kid,
Yep.
and then kid back to adult. So I think we try to use athletics in the beginning to try to bridge that gap. The difference with me is being a UC Berkeley alum, I try to throw it in with education too, because if you can make learning fun, such as UC Berkeley and Laney College did for me,
Yep.
then you can get the kid to be more, because we know the percentage of NFL, NBA, MLB, etc. But it's endless possibilities in the tech world, in the tech community, graduate school. There's so many endless possibilities that you can put the kid in to be successful.
It sounds like to me that you're having a rather seamless experience, sort of being in the NFL and being connected to home, and navigating what could be really two different worlds. And this is something I think about for myself. I work at Harvard, and that's very different than the east side of Baltimore.
Most definitely.
What's that like for you?
I think it intertwines for me.
Yeah.
Because I know how to handle it. The question is, what is that like for you? What image do you want to put out there to Harvard and then to the east side of Baltimore? Do you want to be you, or do you want to weigh and choose sides?
Yeah.
So that's something I will ask you.
For me personally, I think it's each day I'm striving for authenticity, right? I'm striving to walk in the world how I believe I should be walking in the world, and not have that be compromised by context, right? Not have that be compromised by my environment, and nowadays I feel like I travel and I'm in so many different spaces that the only thing I can rely on is showing up as me. I know when I talk to my students, and particularly students who are from spaces and places that were, quote, rough or hard, and they find that education becomes this gateway into a new world, and that there's this disconnect that becomes really difficult to navigate. And a lot of folks don't endeavor or want that because of the pressure that comes along with navigating it.
And what we want to do, there's no difference between you now in your 20s or 30s.
Thanks.
Or 30s. I don't know, because he didn't tell me his age. But there's no difference between you, your 20s or 30, or the 8-year-old kid. We want you to come in our facility to be you.
Yeah.
And when you come in to be you, hey, I want to be a painter. Okay, I know a guy named Blake Jameson.
Sure.
Who does really, really great paintings, has paintings in the San Francisco Museum of Art. And if you want to do that, because I know him, let's put you towards there.
Which is a super huge important message, because I think so many folks believe, and a lot of times folks of color, think to be this thing needs to be something other than myself.
Yes.
Because I haven't seen it represented, right?
Yeah.
And that means then to lose a part of myself.
Right.
Which having to approximate or be or move in a way that's not you then causes loss in a way that people reject. That's not what I want to do. But it's hard to sometimes have those images. So yeah. I hear that, and I applaud the effort to be able to ensure that folks have an opportunity to see themselves.
Well, the only reason
represented.
Yeah, the only reason why we can offer that is because the resource has been open to me.
Sure.
So simple fact, we got my cameraman who's here, right? That no one sees on this live, and then we have yours. Just to give you a story about my cameraman, his name Keith Welch. He's behind the other cameraman who's holding us right now. But Keith Welch was my quarterback, and you can put him on if you want to. Perfect. That's Keith Welch right there.
How you guys doing?
Keith Welch was my quarterback when I was young, when we played Little League football together. Yeah. Keith had the same NFL goal that I had. And now, I'm 26, we're both 26. Now in our 20s, Keith 2 years ago found something he was super passionate about, which is video production.
Sure.
And our whole thing is, in our facility is, Keith had the same goal I had. I made it.
Sure.
He didn't.
Sure.
that doesn't mean he's not successful.
Right.
However, if Keith would have had football and video and photography
And all these other options.
at 8 years old,
Then maybe people would discover earlier on.
that was the thing, and now his,
Yeah.
mind broadens and horizon and everything jumps completely. Instead of him saying, "Man, I'm 2 years and I'm still learning," it will be, "I did this since I was 8, and now I'm 26, and it's 18 years."
So part
and things
of
that
this is like we have to ensure that the structures are in place for folks to have all the options that they should have. Options that are disentangled from stereotypes, options that are disentangled from what we think people can do.
Yes.
All of the options.
Yes.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. It has been a blast. I have never spoken with a pro athlete in the NFL doing good work in this way. We appreciate you all watching the Walking the Talk series. Goodbye from the Harvard Graduate School of Education.